Sauron vs. the Lich King just came out, and I'm going to talk about it because that's what I do. Going into this episode, I had zero personal connections to both characters. Like I said in my last video, the first time I heard of either of these characters was back when Sauron was revealed and everyone started talking about this matchup. So I had little to no connection here, but man, I was really excited to see what they did with this. The fight preview they gave us was amazing, and I was really excited to see where it went. And of course, like any episode with a series I've never heard of, I'm really intrigued by both characters and very interested in learning about them. So, how did I think it turned out? Well, let's find out. Before we begin, as usual, I always gotta plug my reaction to the episode. It can be seen in the description. Also, check out Capsirus' review and channel and all that. Anyways, let's get into it. Starting with the analyses, they're fine. And that is pretty much the most I have to say about them. Maybe it's because I don't know these series too well, but I just don't have a lot to say on their rundowns. That doesn't mean they're not good. They're very solid and cover the characters' worlds and stories fairly well. It's just I don't specifically know what to talk about here. I like the way Boomstick said Mordor. The Sauronite joke was pretty funny. Sauron's cutaway was decent. Yeah, they were pretty good, and that's about it. Anyways, I might as well also talk about the post-analysis too. It's very similar to the analyses, given that it's also nothing special. They do a pretty good job focusing on the feats and abilities they had against each other. Pretty enjoyable to watch, and in my opinion explain Sauron's victory well. Anyways, with the rundowns now talked about, let's get to the fight. Before we talk about the battle itself, can I just say how incredible this animation looks? Like, the attention to detail here on the icy landscape, the fiery volcano in the background, the effects, and the models all look astonishing visually. Honestly, I don't know how the team does it, because this is some cinematic looking stuff right here. The fight begins with Sauron invading the Lich King's kingdom, wanting to claim it for his own. And of course, old Arthas ain't having none of that, so we get a weapon clash, which is pretty slow, sure, but that's what these two are known for. Arthas avoids one of the swings and sends some members of the undead to fight Sauron. Sauron resists with the One Ring and corrupts one of the ghosts, or whatever they are, and sends them towards Arthas as he sends out a snowball to destroy it. Sauron leaps out, having shape-shifted into a wolf, and starts attacking Arthas. Sauron gains an advantage and hangs the Lich King over the ledge, threatening to rip out his heart. The Lich King gives a pretty good bit of banter, saying that he will find nothing as he calls to the Frostmourne Force style in a shot that looks kinda off. I think it was because his head just stayed still that I think this shot looks awkward, but I don't know, it's no big deal. The Lich King creates a blizzard, get it, to make himself disappear. Sauron retaliates this by using the One Ring to blow up a nearby mountain, turning it into a volcano in an absolutely stellar shot. This is the cinematic shit I was talking about, and the way he stands there imposingly after is just S tier. Arthas comes from behind Sauron, and the two have a duel as the blizzard and fires rage on, another stellar shot taking advantage of the difference in color. I love the contrast here between the blue and red. It looks so climatic and epic. Sauron catches the Frostmourne in his hand, causing him to bleed as Arthas drains him of energy and power and flies up. That also explains why this shot looks so slow and awkward, which admittedly took me a second to figure out. The Lich King stabs Sauron in the chest, and we get my favorite exchange of dialogue in the fight, as Arthas tells Sauron that he serves him now, which Sauron responds by saying that he serves no one. Guess now is a good time to mention the voice actors, which, oh my god, they did incredible. Ryan Solis does such a good job as Sauron. His voice and intimidating nature make this impression really solid. And the returning Philip Sacramento does a fantastic job as the Lich King. Unfortunately, that means he continues his losing streak, but what can you do? I really love the tone that he gives Arthas, and it makes all the more sense that he got cast when he played roles such as Akuma and Aizen. And it's just plain impressive when he also voiced Yoda. So, yeah. Once again, the VAs did incredible here. Sauron becomes the big eye thing, I don't remember what it's called, as he tells Arthas the prophecy of his defeat. I love the detail of the eye melting the ice around it, making it rain. That was something very neat and clever and adds to the immersion. Arthas then brings out his giant eye as the two come to a standstill in this yet another incredible shot. And he tries to destroy Sauron's, but Sauron gets out of the attack and destroys Frostmourne, causing Arthas' eye to shatter and the undead to surround him, turning against their king as Sauron says like one of the only Lord of the Rings quotes that I actually know before using the ring to suck the life out of Arthas, leaving him a limp, lifeless armor piece set to lay there. Well, until the next Lich King shows up, I guess. After the fight, Sauron sits on his new throne, evaporating the ice on it to make way for the flame as he turns the kingdom into a burning hellscape in these two raw as hell shots. And there you go. That's the fight. It was really solid. The animation was impressive visually, smooth, creative, the whole 9 yards. I love the clear passion the animators had for these two. And I also love how attentive they are to the details. Like the little hole the sword creates, the breath being visible in the cold, the ice cracking, and the whispers that shroud Sauron. I don't have many criticisms here, to be honest. The only ones I do have is the previously mentioned awkward shot, and the fact that the analyses had no versus stuff at all besides one calc in the conclusion. That was pretty disappointing, especially after having an episode with no calcs at all. Hope we can get some next time. Oh yeah, the next time. So, this is happening. Deku vs. Asta was the last thing I was expecting them to reveal here. I was sure that they were going to save Deku for Gon and Asta for Meliodas. My reaction to this was the most undramatic thing ever. I'm not mad this is happening, not even disappointed, just kind of, you know? I have literally zero personal stakes in this fight, as I do not really care for their series or anime as a whole, really. But seeing Black Clover be covered is going to be cool. And All Might vs. Might Guy has some of the most nostalgic vibes out of any episode for me, so it's going to be fun seeing Deku be in the fight. All I hope for is a solid animation and fight, and an episode in general. As for who wins, I hear it's a pretty big sweep for Asta, and despite knowing next to nothing about him, I'm rooting for him because My Hero Academia fans are annoying. Also, I think Justin Briner is gonna play Deku because he played Pit in Season 5. I don't know, just a little prediction there. And after this episode, we're already onto the season finale. Is it just me, or has this year gone by really, really quick? I mean, Saitama vs. Popeye felt like it just came out yesterday, and now we're basically done with Season 9. Man, how time flies. Anyways, to end this short review off, let's talk about the track. One King to Rule Them All is raw as hell. I swear, this is something straight out of Dark Souls. It's such a good instrumental track and perfectly encompasses the medieval evil and dark yet triumphant feel of these two. Theirwolf yet again brings another goat. And with that, that's the review. Yeah, I know it was shorter than usual. I just didn't have much to say on this one as others. As for the score, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. That means I'm unfortunately bumping Jason vs. Michael down to a 6 or 7 out of 10, but that's how these go, I guess. I've seen other people say that it's a 10 out of 10 and that it's their favorite of the season, and I'm really glad that people loved it so much, because I really like this one too. It's just the lack of personal connection probably took a hit with me, and some other factors as well. And also, of course, opinions change all the time. These reviews aren't meant to finalize my thoughts on these episodes. I can always change my mind later, and I have a feeling that this episode is only going to get better in my eyes over time. And remember, an 8 out of 10 is still an extremely good score to have. Anyways, guess I might as well end it here. Thanks so much for watching. check out my reaction and Cap's channel in the description. And I know I haven't been getting many videos out recently, which, yes, I know is a shame, but that's because I have stuff like practice and work and some family issues going on. But next week, I'll finally have some free time on my hands for a while, and I have a couple videos planned that I would like to have out by the end of the year. So yeah. And also, if you have any cool channel logo ideas or avatar ideas, just let me know, okay? Alright, see ya. Oh, and by the way, for those of you wondering why my SpongeBob vs. Aquaman review is gone, it's because there were a few things that I wanted to change in it. I'll try to have it back up as soon as I can.
You have something I want.